Hello everybody and welcome back to the SOOP Duel series. It's time to continue on with our coverage. I know some of you guys are still watching through the ASL. Maybe have a bit of an ASL hangover. I have a literal hangover today. I was celebrating after the ASL was finished on such a fun season. Celebrating such a fun, interesting season. We got so lucky, Shin and I, with our first season of ASL. It turned out to be one of the best of all time. Absolute fantastic season. And maybe you guys are a bit tired of PvZ as well after watching that, but we have a pretty special PvP here today in the SOOP Duel series. It's SnOw versus HerO. We got HerO in bottom left, SnOw in top right. These are two of the second best. These are the two second best, the two runners up, really, of ASL. I know that HerO didn't make it that deep, but I still consider him the number 2 Zerg player, at least until Effort and Soma come back in the scene, and I think that's what's going to happen here pretty soon. Coming up probably this next season, we're going to see that, which is very exciting indeed. SnOw doing a kind of a strange scout. Usually when you end scout, you actually scout cross map and then you go to one of the other two locations. So a little bit of a weird scout pathway here for SnOw, who's gonna put a top left, then bottom right, and then over here and see the links coming across the map. Does he have a cannon finishing up back at home? He must, because he's throwing down his Nexus. Going in here for a little bit of a scout. HerO open with Overpool. He's going to go ahead and get his gas online there after getting that third hatchery. Nothing too out of the ordinary. HerO has to spread his lings in order to find SnOw's base. He didn't scout him initially with the Overlord, so nothing too scary arriving at SnOw's base. Just a couple of lings, and with the cannon there, he's going to be completely fine. Nice solid opener on either side. Nobody in a huge advantage right now. We're just going to see how these initial zealots fare if SnOw decides to send them out, and we're going to get that in a moment while SnOw just continues to wrap around this base. Oh, you actually might lose the probe, but you got to be on a mineral click when you're coming back around those mineral patches. Usually players will click on their mineral patch back at home, but SnOw was just pathing around the bottom there and didn't realize he was about to get caught by those lings. Only 2 HP left on that. It will go down, so he won't be able to confirm any sort of lair, Hydralisk Den, or anything like that. He'll probably have to push out with a couple of zealots now to try and figure out what's exactly going on. See, there's the lair in the natural, kind of hidden from SnOw here. It could also be like, you don't, this is the big problem with losing your probe early, is that it could also be an early ling speed. If ling speed was finishing up now and here or SnOw decided to push out with his zealots, you could have a big run by a whole bunch of speed lings getting made and just running right through. So SnOw gonna smartly stay back at home. He also doesn't know if there was a Hydralisk Den thrown down, though. There could have been a Hydra Den thrown at the natural that he didn't see, so there could be Hydras on the way right now. He's desperate to get some sort of information, and so he is pushing out a little bit with these zealots. And he sees that, okay, ling speed is done. There's only 2 lings still here, but I gotta be a bit careful. I don't want to lose to a little ling run by, so I'm gonna go back into that wall. Gonna have a Corsair out here in just a moment, and he may want to throw down like an extra cannon or 2 that could be canceled a little bit later on. Looks like he's not gonna do that just because it's such a long rush distance, cross map Radion. He is gonna, of course, go through the middle of the map, making sure that there's no Hydras coming along this vector. He actually went around the zealots to make sure that HerO didn't see that Corsair coming, so they could potentially go around the Corsair that was on the way with his Hydra. So Getting in here to the natural, we've got the Spire plus Hydroden plus Evo Chamber all inside the main base for HerO, which is new to me. I don't usually see that. All three of those buildings are, not all three, but usually the Evolution Chamber and Hydralisk Den are used in some sort of wall, some sort of sim city, to try to slow down zealots when that zealot timing comes through, but he decides to put them all in the main, interestingly, getting Hydra speed and Hydra attack damage at the same time. HerO's sending a lot of lings across the map. He hasn't picked up on exactly where the zealots are right now, but they're actually tucked away at the 12 o'clock. If he finds those and completely surrounds and kills them, that would be an awesome pickup for HerO. He built a lot of lings here in order to deal with these zealots, and now that they've tucked themselves away and hidden, eventually that +1 is going to finish up, and then they're going to become much more powerful. So he'd love to catch those zealots before that happens. He's actually going to catch 3 zealots in the middle of the map. Diving on those would be awesome. So you can see SnOw trying to bring the other zealots together with that. Make sure that he doesn't lose these kind of for free here. Bringing the zealots up. Trying to force these zealots to attack the lings, but these are on a move command directly towards this third base. Hydras are popping out here, but there's not a whole lot of them. And again, the SimCity's kind of missing. Oh, okay, there's the big wave of Hydras. And he's actually going to block the zealots from trying to run away with these lings. Very well played here by HerO. Ambushing these zealots and then trying to overwhelm them immediately. Run by, possibly into the main. He's going to split these zealots off. Hydra's here. And getting bunched up on each other. They will eventually get up into the main base. How many drones can be killed? Just one so far. Not a whole lot of damage thus far from SnOw. SnOw has retreated all the way back into his home. He's on 4 gateway reduction with those zealots coming out here. He's got all the tech though. It's not like he went for just like a quick 4 gateway zealot attack with nothing behind it. He has everything else that he needs behind this, but he really wanted to put on big pressure early to HerO, throw him off his game, but he's kind of failed to do so. HerO is pushing in and tried to dive on one of these cannons earlier. Wasn't successful in that, but this is quite a scary timing right before the storm comes online. There's a DT here, and the storm should be finishing up in a moment, but he's still got to survive the next few seconds. 2 more cannons are about to go down. Oh, he loses the DT. This cannon's going to fall for sure. That cannon falls, and where is that storm? Storm upgrade must not quite be done here. Gateway's going to go down. Probes are being pulled. There's the storm, but is it too late? I believe it is. Too late here to save SnOw. He's going to morph an Archon, and it looks like this game is over. GG. HerO breaks through with the pre-storm bust timing. Very well played by him. I love the Hydra timing that he had as these zealots were coming out on the map. It seemed like he was completely aware of what SnOw's game plan was, and he just cut those zealots off. Kind of trapped them with the lings and gunned a lot of them down. SnOw spawning over here in the bottom right. We got HerO in the top right on Polestar. It's a fun map. I think slightly Protoss favored. Tends to go that way, but it's definitely not a huge percentage. This third base is quite strong for Protoss. Pretty easy to secure that. But there are a lot of bases that you could potentially take. You got a lot of high grounds around, ringing the map, which can favor either Zerg or Zerg or Protoss, depending on how quickly you get into those. Like, if you're able to lock those down early, it's very hard for the opponent to break through with cannons and Templar Storm and Zealots. Or if you're talking about Lurkers and Defilers, Sunkens and Spores. Both races extremely good at holding these high grounds. Very difficult to break those positions. So we're gonna have SnOw open with a double gateway. Ooh, okay. Now this is very interesting. Double gateway at the front, and it looks like it almost completely blocks the natural as well. That's pretty slick right there, what we're seeing on screen. HerO is going to spot this immediately, however, and will have means to prepare for it. There's the double gateway. He sees it. Very interesting, his overlord says, as it relays the information back. Ooh, uh-oh. He took the third. Was forced to take the third by that probe. So SnOw got the probe scout in, denied the natural from going down easily, and so he sent the drone to the third. But now with these bases so spread out, it's going to be a bit of a difficult spot from HerO. He's going to get his gas online so that he can get speed as quickly as possible. Ling speed is going to play a vital role in dealing with these zealots, but SnOw is going to start to send, I think, some zealots over towards the third, and then try to group them up and attack these lings, fight these lings. With the overpool, if you're just non-stop building lings, you should be able to overwhelm this, but it's going to come down to the fights, 100%. How this first engage goes is going to be critical. Really good pullback there from HerO, from SnOw, almost a full surround with the lings of HerO. The zealots can progress up towards this top left. It's just very important that these first few zealots deal damage. Alternatively, that you end up cleaning these with relative efficiency is very important here as HerO. Lings are going to come up. Can he actually get a surround on any of these? That hatchery is starting to get low. He absolutely needs the production capability of those hatches. If he loses that hatchery, you're just about as good as dead in that case, because you just won't be able to make enough units to deal with this. Well, this is a bit crazy. Seems like HerO's decided he's going to go across the map and try to punish SnOw, and we should be seeing a sunken colony made back at home. He's going to let this hatchery die. And, oh wow, that's not a full wall, actually. The top of that gateway is completely wide open, and so these lings will be able to get in here. If he kills the pylon, it's going to be desperately hard for SnOw to continue to produce. You'll have to get a probe down here and then start the pylon and then wait for the pylon to finish while holding the wall back at home. Oh gosh, gonna go ahead and fight these probes. That's a pretty good drill. Is he gonna fight? No. He drills to the natural, and the lings stay alive here in the main. It's still one hatchery versus 2 gateway production, which definitely favors the Protoss player, but with these lings in the main base, it still could go bad for SnOw. Getting in here and just having one ling attack the probes is pretty sneaky. Gonna go ahead and fight some of these zealots on the periphery, but really good pulling away from SnOw. HerO with another round of lings. Man, if he had targeted that pylon, I think this would be quite difficult for SnOw, but he gets the gateway. Maybe even better, kill the gateway so that you limit that production. Now one hatch ling production might actually be able to overwhelm this. It's pretty tough to hold on here as SnOw. I'm gonna build the forge above the gateway. I believe it's forge under a gateway, which is ling tight, so he'll have to put a zealot in between the forge and gateway here in order to make that ling tight, prevent those lings from slipping past. Zealots, on the other hand, can hold the top of the ramp, or top of the entrance at least, in one big line formation, and we're starting to stabilize this game state. HerO's added another hatchery. It's a hatchery at his natural. He's still trying to go around and get something done with these lings, but there's a zealot way out on the map that might cause a serious problem for HerO. Unless it's a probe. Actually, that might be a probe. I'm not 100% sure on that. He tries to run by again. Gonna lose a few lings for almost nothing. There's the probe. Couple kills in the main base. HerO absolutely needs to do this because he's been slowed down a lot in this game by losing that hatchery over at the third base. Did manage to add another hatchery into the main. That's very good. Just getting the production online is super important. Zealots are moving out. They've been spotted. HerO going to be forced to make another massive round of lings in order to stop this, and that's really going to eat into his production capabilities. You can see he's sitting here on 15 drones, 4 hatches. You're not going to be able to produce off of 4 hatches with 15 drones. Okay, he does cancel the third. Yeah, just got to let it go. It's okay to be on just 2 bases with 3 hatches for the time being, just for a little bit here, until he can stabilize the game. Once he's got the game more or less stable, he can get that extra hatchery out and start to saturate that base. He's got hardly enough drones to even saturate 2 bases, so it's not that big of a deal to not have the third base online just yet. More and more lings are being made, but a Hydra Den is coming down as well. Looks like HerO thinking about doing some sort of a Hydralisk bust as a follow-up. I'm not sure if this is the right choice, but looks like a Corsair going to be coming out here and identifying that pretty soon. It is a vertical natural, so the Forge and the Gateway are slightly more exposed. Might be able to come down here and deny the +1, but it's tough to figure out what the timing on that is now. Here's the Zerg player. Like, you're really not gonna probably know how long you have to try and break that. He's pulling back all of his overlords for defensive purposes. Built a lot of lings here. As long as SnOw waits for that +1 to finish, he doesn't take an engage until +1's done, he's going to trade well with the lings. No two ways about it. That +1 just makes it so difficult to trade well with these lings, so SnOw just biding his time, waiting here at the top of the ramp. Over in top left for that upgrade to finish. Will it ever finish, though? That is the big question. Hydras are going to be popping out here soon. Okay, it seems like HerO maybe just wants to build enough Hydras to defend his overlords, and then he's going to transition. I'm not sure on that, but it's starting to feel that way. 4 hatch Hydra being produced now. Oh, can't be losing that Hydra. Oh god, he loses a Hydra already. Going up that high ground is frustrating. Can't really see up here until he's all the way at the top of the ramp, so the lings are not trading very well. The Hydras are helping out, but he's going to end up trading off a lot of forces just to get rid of these few Zealots. So many lings are being siphoned in here. With only 2 Hydras attacking, he's really not putting on much damage, but seems like he will eventually clean this. Wow, that's so much that was utilized there from HerO just to kill those few Zealots, and he's still got 3 on that high ground. A great trade for SnOw. Really a fantastic trade there. Getting the absolute most possible he could out of those few units. Now the Gateway likely to go down here. That's a lot of Zealots, though. Zealots coming out to fight this, and speed is going to be done soon, so it doesn't look like HerO. Yeah, there's speed. HerO's not going to be able to get the kill there on that upgrade, and those 3 Zealots are now making their way into the third base. Dude, this is really bad for HerO. I think SnOw is just going to topple him. It's almost impossible to imagine him holding this. Probably shouldn't have thrown away those lings earlier in the manner that he did. And drones are going to be targeted down here. The Hydras are doing their absolute best to micro against this, but he's got drones off the line, and he's only got 27 total when he should be at around, I mean, it's not necessary, or it's not relevant to say a number at this point because the game has been so chaotic, but on 3 bases you'd love to be at about 35 workers before you really start pumping out Hydras. It's kind of the break point. We've got about one drone per patch, and you can saturate 2 gases, and you can really start to pump hydras, and then later on you want to go to 3 gases and 45 drones. The Overlord here has been killed, and so 1 DT gonna absolutely shut down any sort of progress for HerO. He's just gonna have to run back home with his tail between his legs, make a bunch of Overlords here, and try to get up to 6 hatch while getting some more drones out. But Corsairs arrive over at this third and threaten to kill the Overlords, exposing this third base to a DT attack. That's a very dangerous prospect, and so HerO's gonna block that for now, bringing up the Hydras. Just, can he sneak out enough drones right now to make this play viable? You can see he's at 33. You need to get up to about 45 to really get things rolling, and so we still need to see some buildings get thrown down. Like, he needs another gas. He needs some more hatcheries, so that's going to eat into his drone count even more. But he should be able to get another 4, 5, 6, 7 drones out and really start to crank things up. But in the meantime, SnOw is going to grow. He's going to continue to expand, taking this third base now. I talked about this at the beginning of the cast. Third base here on this map, very difficult to attack into, as is Zerg. Well defended, easily defended base for SnOw. Who's going to be researching Hydaren Amulet and that 250 energy on these Templars. Definitely going to make a difference. Oftentimes we see Protoss players just not get that upgrade, but it is very powerful. It doesn't seem that powerful, but it allows you to bank up to 3 storms on these Templar rather than just the normal 2. 3 storms on each Templar is pretty nasty. +1/1 is done for SnOw, and he's going to push out with that. Try to get something going with these Zealots, at least force some interactions from HerO. You can see HerO kind of being forced to build some units now. Can't just sit here and drone up to his heart's content. He's sitting on 40. 40 overall drones is a pretty solid number. But with SnOw getting his third base out, it's time to go to a 4th here for HerO as soon as possible. And that's the point when you want to get up to about 50, 55 drones. That count is going to really matter here as SnOw starts to beef up this army, get into that high Dragoon count. You just can't quite contest with a lower drone saturation like 45 on 3 bases. You can pump out a lot of Hydras, but you can't contend with the Protoss in the late game. And HerO, I think we're going to go to a late game, buddy. You're not going to break through this. He's trying it. He's taking a look-see if SnOw is fully prepared, and indeed he is. Plenty of Templar at the third. Plenty of Dragoons here. Lots of Zealots. And the spread and split from HerO is alright, but, I mean, these storms are brutal. So many good storms here in the midst of all of these Hydras. The spreading was alright. The dodging, not terrible, but SnOw's going to take that fight pretty easily and start to push across the map now with a really strong force. You can see he hasn't even lost, I don't think, a single Dragoon there. 2 snipes on these Templar is pretty good. It's slowing down the Templar. Not bad at all, but still 3 Templar in the back line with plenty of Storm. That's 2 Storms there. And there's many more here available to SnOw. Pure Hydralisk is going to struggle mightily against this. Don't have any lurkers just yet. No mutas either have been made. Hydra's going to wrap around, try to target down as many Dragoons as he can, and fighting from high ground is strong as well, but he will have to back away once more. HerO still has not opted to drop a 4th base. He just can't afford it right now. He's busy building as many units as possible. And it's okay to sit on the same number of bases as the Protoss if you're going into Hive, but if you're only on 3 gases, you can't really go into Hive. You can't really get there in that tech, and that 4th base is kind of the nail in the coffin. If SnOw is allowed to get that 4th base online, then it's just a numbers game. You're never going to be able to keep up with the Protoss player. You cannot allow that 4th base to come up. These are some good snipes, but a lot of Hydras are going down. In order to make that happen, 50 supply advantage here for SnOw. This is a longer game that's going to reach a climax here pretty soon. I don't think that HerO will be able to hold on much longer. Maybe he takes an absolutely amazing fight and then a 5th base is possible, but I'm not sure that SnOw's going to give it to him. He is incredible with his army control. Maybe not as good as someone like Best, but he is very, very strong at trading with these Zerg players. Looks like +2 is about to finish up here for HerO. Lurkers are out, and SnOw is pushing into a pretty open area. A lot of room for a concave here. HerO wrapping around the backside. Good storms on some of these Hydras. So the Hydras are going to come up from the rear. Is it going to be in time, though? Almost everything is dead before this flank comes in. You want to hit that flank as the other fight is going on, not after. Great storms here on the bottom side. Everything just getting ripped apart. The Dragoons are standing strong, and GG is called. HerO taps out a little bit off on that flank timing, but it is what it is. That was a really rough position. There we go. SnOw over in the top right-hand corner. HerO in the bottom right. Actually, I had to run and go get a pillow. My butt's getting a little sore. Spent, what was it, 4 hours last night watching the ASL finals. Spent a lot of time in this chair, guys. Casting and entertaining you guys. Hope you've been enjoying the series so far. If you do, make sure to like the videos and come over to SOOP Live, support it. Our gems goal is ticking along nicely. Pretty close to that 3,000 gems once again for the 3rd straight season, which is absolutely fantastic. Big ups to everybody who supported that. And try to keep this thing going for as long as possible. Get great series like this. We don't get many opportunities to watch a best of 7 between SnOw and HerO. Kind of a rare occurrence. SnOw usually getting taken out by the likes of Sulky. Is HerO going to be able to stand up to him? I mean, SnOw is just such a god right now when it comes to pretty much every matchup, but even in PvZ, he's been pretty fantastic. Looks like he's trying to go for a cannon rush here. Can he make this work? Even with the drone already here, ready to start hitting this probe, he's going to come around the back. Of course, pylon will be made to block that. Make a gas and try to hop over. That does heal the drone so that he can fight the probe again. Oh, looks like the probe did get the first hit there, so the drone is going to lose this fight. Trying to hop over. Oh, wait. It doesn't lose because enough damage was done to the probe initially. He's not actually hitting the... Oh, okay. He's not... I thought that was a cannon. He hops in and kills the drone and places the cannon. Very nicely done there by SnOw. Right, there was enough damage on that initial probe. Another probe has come down here. We've got the 3rd probe arriving. And I think this cannon is dead in the water. He's managed to handle it well enough. Gonna let this cannon try to finish. He wants that sunken, or he wants that creep colony to finish. He doesn't want to allow that creep colony to not finish. And so he will cancel the cannon now, I believe. Yeah, I gotta cancel that. Quite a bit of lost resources here on the side of SnOw. Gonna make a couple cannons back at home. Actually, just a cannon and a gateway. He needs to pull probes. Cannot be allowing these lings to run by. It's quite a few lings that are coming up. He's gonna pull the probes now, but maybe it's too late. Second cannon is on the way. Can he block here long enough? There's the cannon finishing. The probes are here. And it looks like HerO not gonna try to run by. These probes will have to be off the line for quite some time though. Just kind of sitting here. Ooh, nice block on the ramp. Very smart block on the ramp here right now. Gonna target down the probe, pulling back the probes as they get weakened here. Got a block on this ramp. Don't allow the lings up this ramp. How many probes have been killed? Quite a few. Ooh, and he gets the last shot there. Does manage to connect that 50-50. Connecting shot. Seals the deal, kills the last ling, and so SnOw is going to be able to stabilize. 15 to 17 drones though. 15 probes to 17 drones. I'm feeling HerO's spot. This is a pretty nice spot. Even though he threw away a ton of lings, he got some probes. And he handled this cannon rush pretty darn well. You can see he is almost even on workers now, so indeed quite a nice position for HerO overall. First Zealot is going to be out here to try and even those odds. Get things going for SnOw once again. We'll see if HerO is hitting his build correctly and has the lings necessary to deal with this. Only one ling over here so far. Probe Zealot combo is pretty dangerous. So a few more lings will be brought up to help out. Ling's going to be coming from the flank. He's getting over here to the third, but there's no drones or anything here to begin harassing. So just going to be forced down behind the mineral patches. Wants to get the probe on the other side of that Zealot so that the probe can fire over the Zealot to help it kill these lings. You can two-shot the lings if the probe is helping. So he gets that into position. HerO just not going to engage. No reason to just yet. Not until the Zealot comes out to actually start harassing this drone. Second Zealot arrives here at kind of an opportune time. Oh, this is kind of bad for HerO. He's going to lose all these lings for sure. Here comes another group of lings. That drone is going to fall. He tucks himself back behind these mineral patches. Once again, two more Zealots are on the way, guys. This can get a little hairy. These two more Zealots are going to make things very difficult for SnOw, or for HerO. Coming in to start hitting another drone here. Probe, another probe coming up to try and help out. Another drone goes down. Oh my goodness, this is quite a bit of damage. Is that 3 drones? Plus a lot of trading on these links. I mean, he loses the Zealots, but I think this is absolutely worth it. Slowing down HerO in a pretty major way. While getting into his Stargate. Corsair is going to be out to start to scout. HerO's gone for a pretty standard follow-up. Getting that Ling speed. I believe he has a Spire on the way as well. We haven't gotten a shot of that Zerg base for a bit, but there it is. Spire is done. So the Corsair is a little bit late here. In comparison to where the Muta timing is. The Spire timing, yeah, already has, oh gosh. Already he has a Scourge out and he gets 1 connection. That's not very good for SnOw. This Corsair taking a beating already and might actually get caught by this. This is so close. No, not going to be able to catch that on the angle. I saw that HerO started his armor upgrade there in the air, so we'll likely be seeing a big transition into mutas. 1 drone goes down, 2 drones go down. Wait a second, 3 drones. Hold up. SnOw getting huge damage at this 3rd base. And now there's not even enough drones to saturate that 3rd gas. I mean, just seeing that there is a 3rd gas is quite big. That 3rd gas indicates a lot of stuff to HerO, or to SnOw, excuse me. HerO is going to be making a lot of mutas and relying on air. to a large extent. Drones here. Gonna come off the line to fight a little bit, but can get back to work now. That Zealot will be taken down. Cannons being made back at home. He's not taking this lightly. Knows that there's a possibility of an Ogre Zerg play. As soon as you see that third gas, you gotta start to wonder, is the Zerg player going to heavily commit to air and try to just bowl me over in the main base? And so he's getting prepared for that eventuality, for that possibility, making sure that he keeps the Corsair production rolling, and he's even going to get an Archon with the initial couple of High Templar. I think that's a very valid choice. And so here we go. Muta's flying into the main. Going after that cannon. Not able to find it just yet. And with the Archon Corsair combo, easily going to be able to escort these Mutas outside the base. Just cannot engage with the Corsair, or with the Scourge when the Archon is sitting underneath them, underneath the Corsairs. They just does so much damage. It one-shots and can one-shot whole groups of Scourge, and as long as the Corsairs are pulled back, you're just never going to connect. End up losing a massive wave of Scourge without really connecting or dealing any damage. Now, HerO's gone up to 48 workers here. He better have quite a few sunken colonies at this third. Only the one is kind of scary. One sunken colony here is not going to do a whole lot for you. Sunken needs to target down that Archon. That Archon is preventing the air engagement from happening. HerO just can't dive on it with all of these Scourge. Look, he's going to fly over, and a bunch of these Scourge are going to get immediately killed. Ooh, look at this control from SnOw. You love to see it. Flick micro with the Corsair. It ends up losing him a Corsair, but quite a chaotic situation to be trying to do flick micro in. Just indicating his level here. This guy is extremely strong. And put on a lot of pressure to HerO, but you know what? HerO built a huge drone count and hasn't fully been punished for it with this attack coming in. Oh, great shot there from the Archon. Hasn't been able to connect fully with the Scourge, and so the Corsair number is still pretty solid. HerO going to transition into Hydras now with 48 workers here on 3 bases. Now we are talking. Now this is an economy. This guy can start to really shove out Hydras like crazy, make a ton of lurkers, and fight on even footing with the Protoss player. Likely we're going to see a 5th base come up, or 4th base, excuse me, come up pretty soon. HerO may want to transition directly into Hive play, or he could potentially try to contain SnOw from the high ground. This high ground right outside the natural. Very oftentimes we see in this matchup the Zerg player just trying to contain, keep the Protoss back, not allow him to expand. But we don't have lurkers here just yet. It's mostly Hydras that are fighting out on the map, and here come some storms. Okay, storm here on some of these Hydras. Good dodge by HerO. Gonna have to split off some small groups, try to snipe down those High Templars if he can. Gonna be a little bit difficult. But they're not being escorted by Dragoons here just yet. No Dragoons at this moment. But, okay, here comes about 4 or 5 to escort. It's not the biggest number. You can still run up and try to snipe High Templar. This is some good control from HerO. The backing away as soon as the storms come down. He's going to take an excellent trade and trying to snipe down a High Templar at the end of this fight as well. Here, HerO pushing everything back. You can see with that 47 drone count, how much can be made here from HerO. Really going to be able to mass out a lot of Hydras. And it seems like this third from SnOw is just not going to stand. There's nothing no vision for HerO right now over that third base. And so he hasn't gone up there to clear that yet, but he can do it at any time. Anytime he wants, he can just go ahead and kill that off. Looks like he's going to send some Hydras up. No, not just yet. Maybe SnOw gets away with this. That would be kind of crazy if SnOw was able to just let that third base finish. Yeah, here's the Hydras coming up. Maybe he just targets it. If he just targets the Nexus, I think the Nexus will die. Looks like the Hydras will be forced back. And wow, the Nexus lives, guys. That's kind of crazy. That's a lot of lurkers on high ground. Do we have an observatory? Or any observers to speak of? I haven't seen them quite yet, but it's very possible that SnOw already has that tech ready. Should be aware of the possibility of lurkers coming out here. And there is the observer hitting on two different fronts at the same time. I think the observer just went down. A snipe on that observer would be huge. Second observer over here on the right-hand side. Can he take a good fight here? No storm in the mix just yet. Where are those storms? He actually needs to throw those down. Great storm here on the Hydras to the north. Storm pushing back these Hydras as they come into the rally point. Can he get another storm here? He really needs a good storm. No storm available, so he's going to make he's going to make an Archon. But the Dragoons are dying in large numbers. Still an overwhelming number of Dragoons, but you can see how quickly that changes. All of a sudden, the Dragoons will just start to pop as the Hydra spines start to break through those shields, and a lot of those start to get low. Great storm there, just shoving all of this back. Lurker's going to retreat to high ground. We're going to take the win here for now. Just sit back. See if he can't get this fourth base online and saturated. He's already got 52 drones. You only need about 55 on 4 bases, and you're pretty good to go. Probably want to get this gas online as soon as humanly possible. Make sure that he can produce almost non-stop lurker. Turn every single one of these Hydras into lurkers and set them up on the high ground. Of course, not everyone, but if you're just on 3 gas, you can't really make that many lurkers. 4 gas is when the lurker number starts to get out of control. If you want to stay on Battle Zerg, of course, we need to get a shot and see if there's a hive incoming. If the hive is coming down, then there's probably going to be a better chance of SnOw breaking out. But once the hive is done and defilers make it to the front, then there's no chance of breaking out. So it's like, you gotta take a risk, right? As a Zerg player, if you're gonna go to hive and try to get defiler, you're potentially weakening your contain at the beginning, but then you're making it invincible. So you're really putting a clock on the Protoss player to break out. Now, you can see it. SnOw already feeling a little antsy about getting up this ramp. He wants to come up here, but he can't be losing observers over and over again. He's got to be very careful with those and make sure that he doesn't keep losing observers here, keep getting pushed back for too much longer. That 4th base is now fully online for HerO as this engagement begins. He's getting that 4th gas rolling. Good snipes on some of these high temps, but SnOw is slowly crawling out onto this high ground. More Hydras are going to have to be pulled forward to try and deal with this. Nice snipe on the Templar again. Getting rid of a few more of those. SnOw is fully powered up. 187 supplies, just about max, so he's ready to break out. But will he be able to do it? Lurker slowly getting shuffled back here. He's trying to make the most out of every single one of these units. Pretty tight formations of lurkers all over the place. Oh, that actually missed. Completely whiffed on that left-hand side. Zealots here fighting straight up against Hydras, and another observer goes down. Great snipes by HerO, keeping these Scourge active, looking for those kills. See, HerO's not right up on the edge of this high ground. He's baiting until SnOw has the whole, like half of the army up on the high ground. That's when he can finally start to engage. Once the first line of Dragoons is on the high ground, but the second line is firing from low ground. Continuously backing up here, little by little. More lurkers are going to go down for free due to these storms, but SnOw is completely maxed. He needs to get up this ramp, man. He needs to pull the trigger. All the trading is pretty good, but it's eventually time to just go for it. He is going to start to pull that trigger. Coming up here on the high ground, some mutas get thrown into the mix as well. No Archons being made just yet. He's saving all of these Templar for Storm. He just wants to have as many Storms available as possible. Just blanket all the Hydras as they come forward. Where are the Storms here? We got a couple more Storms left. Dragoons lowering in number. There's not that many of them left. +3 armor is done. That's a very interesting stat. Why did he go for +3 armor right off the bat? But really needs to break through all of these lurkers here. Oh, another storm. SnOw is completely out of money when it comes to his natural and his main base. And so he's mining on one base right now, whereas HerO is getting yet another base down the bottom left. He's getting his 5th base online. This is an untenable position for SnOw. He has to break out of this, but he's taking it very slow. He doesn't want to get surrounded here. He has to make this work, and so he's waiting over and over again for these Hydras to come in. Waiting for more energy is reasonable, and oh my god, what the storm. Holy, these are some fantastic trades. Now, does he have an observer to continue to break forward? There's the observer coming out now. He sees the base in bottom left. That is too many bases. He cannot allow it to stand. He has to make a move. So he's going to start to push to the south. Pushing down to the south here, breaking through the lurker lines. The Dragons are doing a great job. Storms cleaning up a lot of this, but he loses the observer. Cannot keep losing these observers, man. He's got to break through. Another observer moving to the front here. Another storm clearing out some lurkers. HerO opening up a lane, just about has this lane wide open to start the attack. Still layer for HerO as expected. He is just completely focused on keeping this containment up, and I think SnOw finally breaks through, but is it too late? His 3rd base is going to start getting low here. He has to get a 4th online while HerO is attacking him on all fronts. And the 4th base is very hard to take on this map, by the way. Very difficult indeed. Trying to take this map, and so SnOw moving in towards the middle of the map. Trying to push back all the lurkers everywhere here. He's getting some good trades with these Dragoons. Just killing lurkers straight up is amazing. Storms here at the front line. HerO still has a pretty serious supply at 131, bringing forward a lot of Hydras from all different angles. Can he actually surround and kill this army now? This army is so important for SnOw. Great storm there, preventing the Hydras from coming forward. Hydras on this angle are getting absolutely mopped up. All the Dragoons are gone now, and SnOw is pushing forward. His Dragoon army is looking still quite strong, quite scary. Lot of Templar here at the back of this force. Can he continue to push forward here and deal some real damage? Because he needs to take a base, but he also needs to slow down HerO a bit. I'm gonna push over here towards the top left. Emergency sunken colonies are trying to come online right now. HerO, desperation mode, needs to keep this base operational. This is a very far out push for SnOw, by the way. SnOw, if he gets surrounded and loses his army, the game is absolutely over. He'll never hold a 4th base, and he's gonna mine out. So he needs to make a decision: push or take a 4th. Get in here in bottom left or take a 4th, and he's not really pushing into bottom left, and he's not taking that 4th base. He's waffling between the bottom right and the bottom left. He's taking the middle. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. SnOw gonna take the middle base. What an insane play from him, pushing in towards the natural right now with a small group, and then holding the high ground on the other side. He knows that there's no Nidus, and so the army is going to have to come over from this left-hand side. Oh my gosh, so many lurkers running right up on top of all this stuff. A lot of these lurkers are going to get killed as the zealots are standing right on top of it, but I mean, he does break out. Here comes some more storm. Lots of storm going to come down on all of these hydras. Oh, that's a great storm. And he's pushing in towards the main base. He managed to stop the reinforcements from HerO making their way over to defend this attack. And now he can go up the high ground. He needs to get up that high ground, actually. Go up into the main. Oh, SnOw is just going to go ahead and kill all of these drones and that hatchery and start to back away. A little bit surprised about that. I thought he would go into the main, start to kill all of the tech. Kill the layer. Kill the spire. Still, HerO has some bases. He must have a Hydra Den over at the third. Gonna lose that spawning pool. Spawning pool is a big target right now. All these drones as well are great targets. SnOw gonna be on one base again here pretty soon, and it's the middle of the map base. It's not even a very good base, so as that third base starts to run out, he's gonna find himself in a pretty tough spot. I'm not sure who's gonna win this game, but I'm pretty convinced that SnOw is in a good spot. He's in a very nice advantage. Losing your main never feels good as the Zerg player. Makes things so difficult. But he's still got two good, solid mining bases. The 6 o'clock is going to go down. Oh god, these lurkers running up on the high ground. 4 lurkers, 5 lurkers just get caught running up this ramp. That's no good. HerO, I mean, he might be tapping out here, dropping down to 60 supply. We'll go ahead and snipe some of these Templar. Pretty good snipes there. He is slowly breaking through all this. Targeting down all the Dragoons is nice, but there's a lot coming across the map here for SnOw. In fact, he's got 1,000 minerals in the bank. Definitely going to be able to make some good use out of that at this late stage. He just pumps out enough units here. He should be able to drive HerO all the way back. And HerO, I mean, he's played a great game. He really did have an insane containment over SnOw. I can't believe how good SnOw is. Breaking through that containment that HerO had set up is another level, guys. It is crazy that he managed to get through that lurker field. Even with HerO microing non-stop against all that, trying to snipe Templars and pulling back the injured lurkers, somehow still SnOw pushed through. He is mined out on everything but the middle of the map. He just has a very good supply, 141, and it's all on high ground outside of HerO's bases in the bottom left. That makes things very difficult. HerO's gonna have to push up high ground. The shoe is on the other foot now, guys. HerO is the one who has to push into this really difficult spot. Lurkers are going to be set up over here. A triple sunken colony is pretty good, but not when the Protoss army is heavily upgraded. Once they've got all their upgrades online, these sunken colonies are really not going to do too much, and way too many storms are available here, and so HerO just going to get shoved back, and this base is most likely going to go down. All the drones are falling at that base. There it is. GG. Whoa, what a game. Holy, what a game. SnOw versus HerO here on Deja Vu. An absolute banger. And here we go with game 4. HerO spawning in the bottom left. SnOw in the bottom right. These two at each other's throats so far in this series. Really strong showing there on Deja Vu. Although we still haven't seen that full hive play from HerO. I wonder if we're going to get that in this series. Metropolis is our next map. Another map with some mineral patches in the middle of the map, but mineral patches on Metropolis are actually stacked, which makes them a little bit more interesting. That base in the center, quite strong actually. It does provide a pretty significant mineral boost. Deja vu, those mineral patches, kind of weak. They're pretty spread out. And it caused the probes and drones to wander around quite a bit before returning those patches. Not exactly the most efficient. And so we could have a situation where somebody takes the middle of the map here again. I love the way that SnOw took the middle in that last game, actually. It was very Terran-esque, the way he took that as he was pushing across the map. You see that a lot in TVP, when the Terran's just been held back in his base, and then he breaks out onto the map, moves into the center, takes the middle, and then starts splitting off units and attacking different bases. It's exactly what SnOw did in that last game. Finally breaking through, but not taking a difficult to defend base way off at another, main or natural. Instead, just opting for the center, basically around where his army is, and then splitting off and hitting both locations. I think it was also really smart what SnOw did by having a bunch of units over at the natural, just waiting for reinforcements to come, because he knew that Hive wasn't there. He knew that this was Battle Zerg and that there was no Nidus, and so he could get away with just splitting his army and forcing the reinforcements into a really bad fight coming up onto the high ground. This is a little bit rough here for SnOw. Some Lings managed to get into this main. 3 Lings here is quite a big problem. He's really going to struggle to clear those out. And the Zealot on the other side of the map not really doing too much aside from pushing these Lings away and maybe putting a little damage on the hatchery. And usually you're going to see when these two builds match up, Zealot on the ramp with a probe plus a Zealot defending the pylon, but SnOw didn't get his scout in there until a little bit late, and so he had the Zealot out on the map, just kind of sending it in. And so wasn't able to block properly back at home. Ooh, another probe goes down. Got a probe here and another Zealot making its way in as well. Over to that third base. Bit of ring around the rosy here as two players just dodge each other and try to get some damage while playing a little bit more safe. Okay, cannon gonna come up now. 4 Lings in the main. 3 Zealots here to contest. Looks like that Zealot over at the third was just killed. But that hatchery has been brought pretty low. I think it's below half. And so we might see an opportunity for SnOw to snipe that later on when he gets a higher Zealot count. That'll have to be in the back of the mind here for HerO. More Lings coming. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Too many Lings here. Great probe pull, though. Really good, solid probe pull. Just in the nick of time to prevent those Lings from running by. We could have ended up with a whole buttload of Lings in the main base. Maybe even the cannon get killed. But luckily for SnOw, he's able to hold that back, and he's got enough Zealots to make sure that no more probes end up going down. Okay, I say that, but there goes another probe. Not sure what that probe is trying to do. Maybe it start a Stargate? Possibly. Second gas is done for HerO. I think we might see an Ogre Zerg play. In fact, I'm pretty sure of it. He's managed to slow down the gases a little bit and prevent the Stargate from coming up on time. So there's going to be a moment here where there's only like 1 or 2 Corsairs that are just popping out. And HerO's going to have some Scourge. He's going to maybe be able to dive on that. Oh, diving on the cannon is so good. Oh my god, he almost kills the cannon. You got to be kidding me. 33 HP on that left over. A lot of Lings out here. Gonna be tracking down these Zealots. The Zealots coming out. Really not gonna get much done. In fact, all of them are gonna die. He has to run back home, try and save some of these. A lot of these Zealots are gonna die, and he just needs to batten down the hatches here. Just get the Zealots into these chokes. Because HerO has way too much on the field, dude. We're gonna have a Muta play like now. Mutas are gonna be popping out immediately here. 25 drones. HerO has stopped really early on and is just going to make a massive round of Mutas. Scourge are coming as well, and there's gonna be Mutas and Scourge as this Corsair arrives in his base. Look, he's gonna go around. Oh boy. Oh man, this is not good. We've already got Scourge chasing this Corsair, and there's a bunch of Mutas going into the main base. This has got to be GG, actually. Yeah, this is not going to go well, man. Diving right on top of that cannon. 2 volleys, kills it immediately, and now the main base is completely screwed. Excellent, excellent control by HerO. Decision-making on point. Getting into that main base and slowing down the gas and slowing down that Stargate absolutely opens up an opportunity like this. Those Lings even almost killed the cannon. SnOw just not realizing what was going on there. Not realizing that he was about to get busted wide open. We're jumping on in to game number 5. HerO in the top right, SnOw in the bottom left. Dead even in the series. Eclipse is our next map. Let's get it, guys. SnOw. How is he going to open? After that last one with the way that the Zealot expand opened, the gateway expand, might be shying away from that a little bit here. Gonna throw out that first probe. He may want to go for a cannon rush. Cannon rush on Eclipse is quite strong. Let's see when he throws down his Forge. Because the timing on that will be important here as to whether he can get this cannon rush going. And he's gonna move his probe all the way around the outside. Okay. Overpool here for HerO. Overpool is not going to be as vulnerable to a cannon rush, that's for sure. Haven't seen the probe get sent down just yet to make that forge. It looks like he's actually going to check in here and then throw down a Nexus first if there wasn't a pool. But now that he sees the pool, he realizes, okay, well, I guess I have to build that forge, but he'll probably go forge Nexus, then cannon, to try and optimize the best that he can. Rogue trying to fake him out a little bit that he might want to build a sunken, or might want to build a cannon. Continuing to block here. This is some really high level micro that we're seeing out of SnOw, but he does lose his probe. Good control by HerO as well. Killing that first probe is kind of big. Gonna send out the second probe. No, he's gonna keep it back at home. Gotta get that cannon going. So the cannon will begin. Second probe gonna be sent out on the map. Wants to go get some more information. Definitely don't want to lose that first probe. If you do lose it, need to replace it. Send it out. Send out another one. The slowdown on the hatchery is nice, but I don't know if it was worth that first probe being taken down. In fact, I think it indeed was not worth, so that's a bit unfortunate. HerO grabs his third base. Hasn't added his gas just yet, but he's trying to maneuver some Lings around the outside. Oh man, he is gonna try and do a little run by. Wants to get some more Lings in, a little repeat of that last game. Only one cannon here. How quickly is he going to be able to pull the probes in order to defend this? There's Nexus not quite finished yet, and so it might be difficult to pull the probes to defend that. Here comes the Lings. Oh, the probes need to get down here right now. Zealot is on the way, but Ling's going to run by the probe here in the wall. Cannon's taking a lot of damage. 4 Lings hitting that means that that's going to go down very quickly, breaking through this wall. Now gonna go after the pylon. The pylon is so scary. If he loses the pylon, this game is basically over. Going after some of these probes. This is some really good control as well by HerO. Just making sure that he is never getting completely surrounded by those probes. Making sure that the mineral walk is never against him. Going after the pylon here. Zealot came out and managed to get to the main base, but now the pylon is dead. And the second Zealot is dead in the water. In fact, this game is just about over, guys. This Ling attack, too strong. HerO gets in here and just breaks everything. He is stuck on 19 of 19, which actually makes me feel kind of good about myself, because that happens to me all the time. Catharsis there. You can see he's got 300 minerals in the bank, and he is completely supply blocked. I mean, when your heart is pounding and you're just trying to get a kill with the Lings in the early game, it can be very hard to remember to make that Overlord. Okay, for game number 6, SnOw, bottom left, HerO top left. Dominator. Should be a good time. I enjoy myself a Dominator PvZ. We've had a lot of great games on this map. A lot of interesting methods have been employed. Some Zergs like to focus on getting into a massive macro game and trying to lock down that other main base, but others want to try and break the Protoss early, prevent them from ever getting, you know, their third and fourth base online. It is very hard to take a fifth base as Protoss sometimes. Occasionally it can be difficult. You can try to take them on opposite sides, right? But the base above the third here for SnOw is pretty darn close to the Zerg player. Still, you can take it while attacking. You can kind of take it behind an attack, similar to how Terrans do it. It's just that HerO's going to be expanding over towards that other main base by expanding to the right and down over to that corner. And so he'll have a little bit easier access over to that area. You can see a gateway expansion from SnOw this time. Another overpool from HerO. SnOw not going to be able to block the natural this time. And so here we'll have a little bit of a smoother opener. Take that hatchery right on time. And the probe will make its way over here, spot what's going on, see how many Lings are made, and we'll see how this Zealot play fares, how these Lings will engage here. But I'm hoping for a nice long game. And I'm hoping that SnOw will be able to take it in the end so we can get that Death Valley game, that final game 7. I'm a bit biased, you could say, but I do want to see that final game. I do want to see Death Valley. We've seen so many good, interesting games there, and it's not going to be around forever, guys. It'll be gone before you know it, replaced by a new map pool. I think we'll still get a couple months out of it probably before the new ASL map pool comes out. Should be coming out in the fall. Here's HerO checking the front, seeing what he can do here. There should be a Zealot plus probe on the ramp. I didn't see another Zealot come out, so there it is. Zealot probe on the ramp, ready to fight. Not much you can do here as HerO, but run around and just look for an opportunity. And as no opportunities present themselves, you will just kind of file out. These two Zealots wants to delay them a little bit by kind of running around. He has brought together quite a few extra Lings to deal with this. And so he's actually going to surround and potentially just kill the Zealot. Oh, the surround is pretty good. The surround is very good. He's going to put a ton of damage onto that Zealot. Immediately takes it down. Almost gets the second Zealot as well, but a third Zealot will pop. move forward here and try to stop this attack. Finishes up his Nexus and can get that Forge in the wall. Now the Forge is here. It's time to quit. HerO has done enough to push back these Zealots. Getting drones online is going to be the priority from now on. And in fact, we'll start popping these out, making a bunch of drones here to begin saturating this 3-base economy. Now, SnOw taking a bit of a risk here, heading out with these 2 Zealots. There's no cannon just yet. Cannon not quite done. And there's a hole in this wall. Okay, he's going to bring the probe up. That's very good. Bring the probe. Contain the hole in the wall. And wait for this cannon to come up. He actually sends the Zealots back home. That's a reasonable choice. There's enough Lings out here to kill both of those, and you don't want to be losing them if you can help it. Hydra Den is done. HerO checking out the main base, going deep with the Overlord to make sure he's got full information about what's coming. SnOw does not have that privilege here. He has no information about what HerO's up to, aside from what that probe can glean. Now that it's gone, though, it's been in the dark. Might be surprised by a Hydra bust that could be coming here shortly. SnOw thinking about throwing down more gateways, it looks like, but he actually needs another cannon. Hasn't thrown down the second cannon. Very important to have 2 cannons at the bare minimum to hold on here. It's not usually very strong to go for a Hydra bust versus gateway opener. You're just gonna have too many Zealots to buy time for more cannons to come online. It's much more common to see it against the Forge opener, but that's kind of what can make it good. If it's unexpected, then maybe the Protoss player won't be well prepared enough for it. Second cannon going to finish up. A third cannon is going to be finishing here soon as well. It's kind of looking like HerO's not going to be able to break through. He hasn't pulled the trigger on gunning down any of these cannons yet. I guess he's waiting for range to maybe come online. Overlord here going to get caught, as it was probably just rallied forward with the other hatcheries. That's a little bit unfortunate. There's the Hydra range coming online. Looks like 1 cannon going to be canceled. 4 cannons is enough, says SnOw. In fact, he's even going to cancel the 4th cannon. Wow. Cancels the 4th cannon. Going to go down to 3 cannons. 3 cannons is kind of crazy, guys. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable as the Protoss player with only 3 cannons. 4 cannons feels like the bare minimum, but he's gonna cancel as many as he can to get these Zealots online as soon as possible. He just started Zealot speed. Yeah, that seems crazy to me, guys. Call me crazy, but not having Zealot speed right now and only 3 cannons, I'm not gonna be feeling too comfortable about that. Trying to get these kills, he loses one of his Corsairs. Good target fire from HerO. Dancing with the devil there. SnOw winds up losing one of his Corsairs, and now there's a potential for a Mutalisk switch. He could just drop a Spire. HerO could. And switch right over into Mutas. Double Forge in the main. No Corsairs being made. There's the 2nd and 3rd gas. As soon as he sees both the 2nd and the 3rd gas getting made, I think he gets kind of suspicious here. Gonna fly through. Keep flying through. You gotta keep this Corsair alive. Killing Overlords is nice, but scouting for that Spire is gonna be super important. Seems like SnOw getting his gateway count online pretty quickly. Maybe he can just push out in a strong manner here soon. Oh, this Zealot attack is not going to fare too well if it doesn't have speed. Oh gosh, it's really got to run away from this. Okay, speed coming online now. Speed coming online is very important. With that speed, he will be able to drop back. He's actually going to fight all of these Lings, kind of surprisingly. Going to dive on top of the Hydras now. Getting all in on top of them and surrounding them. There's no +1 for sure, so fighting the Lings was not going very well for SnOw, but now he's putting on the pressure with all these Zealots getting over here and potentially going to force the cancel on a 4th base. Yeah, he's going to go directly towards that. HerO trying to bait him over towards his natural, but SnOw has a mission. Going to send those Zealots over to deal with that hatchery and may in fact get it. Doesn't have that +1, so he's not going to deal nearly as much damage to it. But this is quite a few Zealots, and more are on the way. More Zealots are coming up right now. Going to be able to start to surround this and start to pick it off. Wow, a lot of these Hydras are very low, but he will get the last one. And target fire onto this hatchery will continue. More Lings coming up here. Lings still going to be very useful at dealing with these Zealots, considering they don't have that +1. Finally, some mutas are out. So yes, he was transitioning into mutas. I didn't see where the Spire was, but I assumed as soon as you see that 3 gas, or that second gas and third gas coming online at the same time, you gotta know that's what is coming. Trying to gun down some of these drones, but now the mutas are here, and the Zealots will just have to split, spread, and run away. No two ways about it. He's just gonna have to run for the hills. And the 4th base will survive. This is a tough spot. Quite a tough spot for SnOw. He's going to continue to try and make this work. Continue to try and get in there. But this is going to be a struggle, guys. DT makes its way over to that 4th. Can he actually kill the 4th base? Can he get the 4th base before the Overlord makes it over here? This is so important. Can he kill it? Oh, he's going after a drone. Get the base. Kill it. Oh my god. SnOw, 200, 180, 145, 100. Oh, the drones come off the line. 60 HP on that. You've got to be kidding me. 60 HP, and HerO will hold. He keeps the 4th base alive. 55 drones. This is becoming extremely tough now for SnOw, that he didn't get that hatchery, and he's not got, you know, extra bases online. HerO is just, dude, he's exploding. Absolutely exploding. Look at him, triple hatchery at that 4th base. He is gonna have so many units. He's not gonna have Hive here just yet. He's gonna stick to Layer Man, but he is going to have insane numbers of units to actually start to fight. SnOw coming out on the map, but I'm telling you guys, there are going to be so many Hydras, Lings, and the Lurkers. The blue is going to blot out the map, guys. I know it's blue on blue, but it is what it is. Here comes those Scourge. Not able to get a Storm on the Scourge, unfortunately. So some of the Corsairs go down, and some of the Templars fall as well. The Muta's doing their work, limiting the number of Storms here. SnOw gonna try and take an additional base. If we can get one of those online, really does need to get an extra base going here. Preemptive Storm out in front of these Mutas, and Corsairs will just be able to chase that now. Those Mutas are super low, and so if he manages to get on top of them, you will be able to kill them all. Templar comes up here, but he's got no Storm energy, trying to push forward. I don't think this is going to work here, guys. SnOw is going to have to fall back. That's way too many Hydras and only 1 Storm. Just not going to cut it. We'll have to retreat and run all the way back home. He's taking his 3rd base, but HerO is powering like nobody's business, dude. He is ahead in supply, hammering out units here with 56 drones in that all-important 4th base. He hasn't grabbed the 4th gas just yet, but we can see him take that pretty darn soon and really start to make a lot of Lurkers. Just beating that with pure Hydra is giving us a good idea of the state of the game right now. The fact that SnOw wasn't able to come up onto that high ground and win that fight really just shows how far ahead HerO is at this present moment. +2/+2 is about to finish. That +2/+2 is actually a pretty big break point. Once that's done, SnOw's going to be able to fight these Hydras much, much better. Zealots really do scale better as the upgrades go. as the upgrades continue to increase, because the Hydra attacks are doing explosive damage. They're not going to do very much to these Zealots, and they're going to do less and less as the upgrades continue to pile on. Here comes a big round of Hydras making its way over to the natural. Here comes some mutas. Those mutas from earlier have regained some of their HP. Running right up here on top of the Dragons. There's a great storm, an absolutely magnificent storm, killing off a majority of these Hydras, but this is not a big enough advantage for SnOw to just start pushing back across the map. I think he needs to take a fourth, batten down the hatches, and wait a little bit longer before trying any sort of an attack. Killing off that Templar is nice. SnOw beginning to push out a little bit here. He's forced the mutas out of his base at the very least. Oh, loses the Corsair. Corsair going down is quite annoying. These mutas are continuing to ravage Templar whenever they have the opportunity. In fact, HerO has a better economy than SnOw right now on 55 drones to 52. That's a little bit overwhelming and difficult to deal with. Finally, an Archon is here. Archon, very nice for dealing with these mutas. Just need to bring forward these Corsairs as well to start to deal with this. Targeting down the Archon, but not able to get it. That does survive, and yeah, that +2 kicking in makes a world of difference, man. SnOw hanging on here. He's only got one cannon at that base. He's being so stingy because he knows what a difficult spot he's in. It's true that he could be easily broken at that location, but at the same time, if HerO doesn't go there and SnOw gets away with that, then he's going to have more gateways. He's going to have more units to actually fight back on the field. And that's what he needs. He needs a lot of units here. HerO is just massing up and getting ready for this next attack. Come right in here, try to snipe down some of these Templar. Here comes the mutas. Great storm. Oh, absolutely fantastic storm there. Storms here on some of the Hydras coming from the north, but this army is kind of cut off. Dragoons here standing on high ground are going to start to get gunned down. More Zealots coming up from the flank. Zealots here on the right-hand side holding the line, but there's still quite a few Hydras left over at the end of this fight. Not any Templar left here, and the Hydras will be shoved back. More coming forward. 110 supply to 100. Hydra's just so efficient in terms of supply. 1 per supply means that there are a ton of Hydras still left alive after all is said and done. More Zealots going to come forward here to try and fight them back. Their extra upgrades are really paying dividends right now, but more Hydras come from the flank. Going to try and target down this Nexus. The Nexus is getting super low. It will get targeted down. So losing that Nexus is a really big blow to SnOw. He was waiting so long for that to come online, and he's just mined out in his natural. His main is looking quite sparse as well. A mineral only is being taken by HerO. Kind of a funny mineral only to take over there in center right, but gonna go ahead and try to take that. Mineral only in front of the natural seems a little bit easier to defend, but it is what it is. He's spreading his units along this right-hand side anyway, and looking in for another attack on this angle. SnOw gonna gear up, wait for this attack to come through. HerO's still not going into Hive, guys. We really haven't seen much Hive out of HerO. And I haven't seen a Defiler yet. No Plagues yet. So really relying heavily on layer-based play. No big storms on a lot of this stuff. Very big storms indeed. No lurkers at all. I'm kind of shocked. And I don't even see any mutas coming, but this is pure Hydra play is actually overwhelming. Dude, HerO is just out-macroing, completely out-macroing SnOw. That's so many units, and GG is called. HerO takes it home with the overwhelming force of Sauron Zerg breaking through everything. I mean, generally we say Sauron Zerg when we talk about Hive play and just mass Ling coming down on all fronts. Ling, Hydra, Lurker. But that was Sauron Zerg nonetheless. Pure Hydra Sauron Zerg. unlimited hydras breaking through the defenses there. At least that's what it felt like. Even with great storms and an upgrade advantage for SnOw, it was not enough. He's not able to hold on and take us to that final game, unfortunately. We're going to end here, guys. Death Valley will remain a mystery. GG's. Thanks for being here, guys. Vitran. Hope you had a good time, man. Sneak in. Glad you could be here. Tenno. Thank you as ever for your support, man. Appreciate it very much. Guys, we're going to have a bit of a break now in our SOOP Duel series. This will be the last episode for this week. We're going to be back on Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday is off. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be right back into the action, guys. It's not going to end... I guess the 15th of June will be the end of this season. Somewhere around there. Somewhere around there. We'll get to it. We've got 20 days of SDS each season. And I think we're about halfway through. Let me actually count this. We're only 9 days in. So 9 days, we're about halfway through. Thanks for being here, guys. We're going to continue this during the ASL downtime. I think that's when it's the most important. Hopefully we'll get more people in here to watch on the SOOP live stream. If you haven't already, go over there and follow that. It's a link in the description, guys, for those of you on YouTube. It's very important that... we reach these gem goals and have lots of you watching in the SOOP stream. It allows it to keep going because SOOP is trying to promote their own platform. They're trying to get more streamers involved there and trying to make that profitable. And the more profitable it is, the better it's doing, the more they're going to be sponsoring events like this one. Of course, that's just the way that it goes. We can't do anything unless we get your support, and so please head over there. Also, big shout out to the Patreon supporters. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.